What's up? Happy Monday. Happy Motivation Monday. Um, Hope the weekend is good, everybody. Hope y'all maintaining. Damn, I was just thinking to myself, like, yo, like the next time we talk and hear each other, um, shit, it's gonna be 2021. So I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday. I hope Christmas went well for you. I hope the weekend went well. I hope you are staying on course and following our regimen for being constantly motivated. I'm not saying there ain't gonna be no moments where you doubting and get a little stressed or a little down and out. I don't like to say depressed because that's like when it reaches a certain level. So either way, man, this is it. This is the last show of 2020. I know a lot of y'all couldn't wait to see this year go by. A lot of people do that. That's a people thing, at least in this country, that they blame on the good and bad on the year. That year, man. The year just happened to be the year. That's just us keeping tally of the dates and time. But the year ain't do nothing to you. It just happened in that date and time. I mean, has it been a rough 2020? Absolutely. Nobody's going to argue that. But I just wouldn't blame it on the year. I could say it happened in that year. You know what I mean? One good thing, I'm motivated. You see me, I got my Jets jersey on. So you already know what that means. That means we spanked some ass yesterday. Super Bowl Sunday. People talking about Jets ain't jack shit and can't beat this and can't beat that. How about when we do beat them? When we beat a dude ass, it'd be an important game that you just thought you was going to squeak by and get in the playoffs easy. Like, nah, yo. Nah, because you got to understand, it is called the New York Jets. Never forget that New York part, because that New York part will come up and nip you in the ass any chance it gets. You could be pushing a guy around at the office all day. And then all of a sudden, I know we just smack you back. And you're like, yo, what is that? That's that New York. That's that New York. He didn't want to risk his job. He took a lot of shit on the chin, and until he didn't take no shit on the chin, and then he hit you with that New York. What up, Amir? Happy Monday, brother.
What's going on, brother?
Either you
Happy
had to
Monday. Happy Monday.
taking a shit or you took a nap.
Nah, none of the above, brother. It's all good. It's all good.
I was just talking about my Jets, right? I said I'm
Okay.
motivated, feeling good today. All day I've been throwing my Jet stuff on because of yesterday's ass kicking. It wasn't just a win. We definitively kicked the ass of a hot Cleveland Brown team. Cleveland
Yeah.
Browns have been hot. So everybody's
No.
scared to see them. So they thought they was just gonna come in there and
And run over the Jets.
get
Yep.
some Junior's cheesecake and smack people around. Nah, yo. Always remember, it's the New York Jets. When New York is part of any name, just like when I do the New York King of Comedy, right? Like New York is a reminder of that's a place that don't take no shit.
They don't.
So
Yeah.
you
They
could push me
serious.
around all day. At some point, when you least expect it, Leo, what is that? That's New York.
That is you, yo. You make a perfect point. I always make people laugh. I tell them, I said, as a New Yorker, again, I say this with no knock to any other city, no knock to anybody else, but
Right.
let's name someplace else on the planet that you go around the world and they ask if they're in the building. You never in Germany and somebody goes, is OKC in the building? Unless they know OKC is in the building. New York is asked about everywhere around the. I don't care where you go. No matter what you're doing, said somebody is New York in the building, and it's always one person who's from New York City, from Brooklyn, but that's not true. So you
Right.
kind of smile about it. Should be like, son, you was in Brooklyn all of 30 seconds, my nigga. That doesn't count.
Yo, I tell you, dude, like, and that's one thing. Like when we talk about motivation and depression, all that, that's one thing that I always look at when I see people go through stuff or act like they can't go through stuff. I'm like, you a New Yorker. Like the fact that you lived in this place and didn't go nowhere for whatever amount of decades, how could you? It's impossible to be soft.
it's funny. You feel like you're built for anything and for everything. To
Yes.
your point, to your point, this is Motivational Monday, and this is a little sidebar, but this happened today. So, growing up in the projects that we grew up in, a little background, about myself. We had a situation when I was very young. I was maybe 12, 13 years old, but a neighbor of mine jumped my older brother for money. So he snuck up behind my older brother. He tried to rob him, so forth and so on. Long story short, myself, my younger brother, another friend of mine all came out. We tackled the guy to the ground, waited for the cops to come, so forth and so on. Long story short, though, the gentleman recently passed in this week who attacked my brother. And he's the brother of, one of my friends who I grew up with.
Right.
So anyway, there was a post put up about it. Obviously, we all sending our condolences and our prayers out to their family. But my older brother, who the incident happened to, didn't necessarily want to, say anything negative or, really say anything about it because, that happened, even though it happened a long time ago, it's still something that resonated with, our whole entire community. Long story short, though, my oldest brother reached out to the younger brother and they had a conversation where the young man explained to my brother how that affected him and his family to the point that
Wow.
his mother was embarrassed and the family was embarrassed because he had attacked, my brother. And we were all, lived in the same building. So everybody knew everybody. And
Right.
obviously when something like that happens, the word gets around and everybody's looking at you sideways like, dude, why would you do that? Everybody respects everybody in here. But long story short, it mended a long running hurt that this person and his family had
Yeah.
with my brother. And the thing about it is, my brother didn't hold no ill feelings or animosity about it because it happened first and foremost years ago. And secondly, things happen. You can't allow something that has happened in your past to unfortunately continue to stay with you into your future because if and when it does, in some cases, I've said this on other shows and other platforms, it manifests itself in all kinds of other horrible ways in your life. The real
Right.
reason why some of us, and I know people are going to disagree, and I get it if you do, but the real reason why some of us catch some of the ailments that we catch is because you're still holding on and harping on things that happened to you in 1982, something that happened to you in 1994. And my thing with that is it happened. Hopefully you learn from it. Hopefully, as this Motivational Monday is about, it motivated you to do better or to take something from it that you can now apply to your life as it stands now. And
Right.
that's what we all have to do a better job of. This pandemic slowdown or whatever, anybody is saying, I've said this time and time again, this is a time for everybody to heal those old wounds. Everybody is not just fighting from a financial standpoint and things like that. Some of y'all are fighting the old wounds from things that happened to you in your childhood, things that happened to you in your adulthood, but you got to put those things down. You got to hopefully reach out to that person, have a real heart to heart, listen to each other, understand, pivot from it, make some other wonderful strides towards becoming better from it. And
Yep.
both of you walk away with forgiveness because forgiveness and love are two of the most powerful things that we have, on this planet. And I encourage everybody who's on the various platforms who's tuning into this, know that you have that power to change that. You just have to have that conversation. You got to take that first step. You got to tell your cousin, yeah, I'm sorry about whatever. You got to tell your brother or sister, my bad. I was in a bad place or whatever. And that doesn't mean that it totally absolves them of the situation or the issue. But once you get beyond that, you'll find that some of the ailments, back pains and neck pains and shoulder pains, because what happens is your body manifests those things in ways that you don't really think that that's what's going on, but that's what's going on. You people who have chronic back pains and you've been to the doctor, and you're like, they can't find anything. It's because you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, or you're carrying something on your back that you should have let go of years ago. I've gone through it with
Yes.
family members of mine. I've gone through it with friends of mine. So I'm encouraging each and every one of y'all to hopefully, start doing that same thing within your circles. Because I'm telling you, the more you start to heal up, you start to put any and all of these things down, trust and believe, you'll feel so much better. You'll be able to continue to move forward. and as Motivational Monday is supposed to do, you'll start to be able to motivate other people, because once people see how you've been able to put those things down, they'll start to think and believe to themselves they can do the same. And that's a powerful, powerful thing. I
I like
can't,
I
convey
like
that
that.
enough to you guys.
Hey, brother, you hit that on the nail on the head. So nobody can't contest that. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about. Stuff like that. Um, today's show is going to be crazy because we're going to be all over the place. This is our last show, believe it or not, in 2020.
Yes,
God be
yes,
the glory. So because of that, we're going to be laughing at some things in 2020. We're going to be hoping for some things in the next year, whatever the case may be. We're going to review some movies that drop, some binge worthy TV stuff, and just talk about what's being talked about. You know what I mean? Give our spew. We
yes,
got three great guests. Today is the Day of the Queens, man. You know, we live in the era of the woman, the strong queen. And for that matter, we got a couple of female queens coming on this show. Three comedians who are three different styles and doing three different things. I got my girl Mimi Simpson. I got my girl Tamika James coming through, and I got my girl Onika McLean coming through, just to chat up and get into the conversations. First and foremost, happy holidays to everybody and all that good stuff. I say today, you know, going forward, we might change the name of the show. Let's call this show, the podcast, call it the Stimuluses and Vaccines. I'm just trying out new names. I'm, I'm trying out new names. No, you know, okay, okay. I thought that'd be a nice thing. Thank you for tuning in to the Stimulus and Vaccines podcast.
yo,
One thing,
crazy.
one thing you don't want, they try to give you a lot of, and one thing you do want, they try to give you a little bit of. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're looking like right now, the House is voting because you know Trump said what he said, so the House just passed the vote. Yeah, we vote for $2,000 up to six to 2,000. Now you know damn well it should go hit the Senate, and they're gonna be like, yeah, because they didn't want it in the first place. The
That's a
Trump
no.
It's something that Trump done did, so it's going to be hilarious to see what happens there. Now, let's go. First and foremost, let's do a little year in review, right? 'Cause me and you got started a conversation earlier on the other Motivation Mondays, the early version, and you went into that you caught a couple of movies, you had a good weekend and whatever, and
Yes,
you
yes,
said
yes.
Wonder Woman '84. My whole smile went away. I was like, right? And you was like, I don't know, whatever. Now I seen this movie Honest Thief with Liam Neeson. I've seen the movie Soul, the new animation from
Okay.
Pixar. I've seen
Mhm.
one, and I've seen a bunch of other movies on Netflix that were pretty good as well. But I give Wonder Woman on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being the best. I can only give it probably 2.5, 3 stars. You're right. The message was it was a good message. I mean, did they do the best conveying it? Nah. Um, but I just thought in the realm of superhero movies, um, DC is fighting back for guys like Marvel. You know what I mean? Like Marvel seems to
Mhm.
have it the niche pretty good, and DC was like left behind. And then they went dark with Batman and Superman and the League of, and started kind of like and Wonder Woman and started making some headway creeping back. And then they dropped this one. It took too much time away from the action. When they did get to the action, and you always enjoy that, you know, they do a good job with that, but it took too much away from the action, uh, you know, to bring her guy back who died. You know what I'm saying? And I just didn't, and then it made me say, what the hell is the obsession with the year 1984? Right? So we talked about it, and the whole Reaganomics thing made sense. You know what I mean? When I went back and there was a movie called 1984 and a book and all that stuff. So when I did the research, I said, okay, because I knew it had to be something that there's no way in the world I'm watching American Horror Story 1984 and then there's Wonder Woman 1984. What's up with 1984? You
Yeah.
know,
Well,
1984, I made a decision not to sell drugs. It was a good year.
well, like you said, 1984, as much of the 80s was about overconsumption. Let's be honest. It was about overconsumption. It was about the start of this whole ideology of having more than the normal person might have.
Right.
And it started us on a track and on a path that, in all fairness, as I've stated earlier, leads us to where we are today.
Mm.
When you really think about it, and it is unfair, but I want everybody to think about this. We have what they call the supposed 1%, which has more wealth than a good number of the countries in the world combined.
Right.
What sense does it make for 1% to exist when 99 or 98 or 97% of the world is jacked up? You understand? Like, nobody is really being honest with themselves when you really think about that. Do most of us live above and beyond our means? In some cases, yes. That's not everybody, but it varies depending on who you speak to and what they try to accomplish. But the bigger picture is this: to the movie in particular, like you said, you're speaking to. First and foremost, obviously, again, going back to something I said just a little while ago, there's the love factor. Of all the energies that exist in the universe, love is the strongest, it's the most powerful, and it's the most probably misunderstood and misused energy of all the energies that exist. And I say that because when you really think about it, if you're vibrating on a certain level of love, everything else in the world flows from that energy. The
Right.
fact that we're in this time frame and moment where, like I said, so many of the world, or so much of the world, appears to be behind financially. We appear to be undernourished mentally. Most people are finding out. I've joked about this last week, and I joked about this on other shows. Most of us are finding out we don't like our kids, but that's not, we don't like them. We don't really know our kids. You guys have had to work so hard between 1 and 3 jobs that you don't know your children. You don't know their likes, their dislikes. You don't know who they are as human beings. And the same for your significant others. So what's happening is, and what happened was, the world slowed down so that we could try to refigure that part out again, because we all got, caught on that hamster wheel. So everybody was just ripping and running. You go to work every day, you keep your head down, you work hard, you get paid, you look forward to Friday, you blink, and it's Monday again. For those people who work utilizing that scale. Then there's those people who work in retail who don't work on that scale. They work based off of the day of the week, or based off of, what sales are going on.
Right.
So what happened was, the entire free world got caught in all these different moments and all these different scales, and it pulled us away from what we're supposed to inanely be doing, which is being humane to one another. And that includes everything from text messages or phone calls to call and check in. Obviously, due to this specific situation, you can't go visit people like you could and like you should. But even that, we moved away from any and all of those things. So because we moved away from any and all of those things, the world just saw themselves as, I need to have more. I need to, have everything. And we forgot that there were people out here who don't have anything. So if you have everything and there's people who don't have anything, that's a weird conundrum to be in. That's a weird space to be in. But the reality of it all is, the movies, the TV shows, the music, and so many things have led us to believe that that's what it's supposed to be. And I
Right.
use music too, because we, the hip hop generation, some of us on this, on these platforms, are the hip hop generation, myself included. And y'all remember, we went from social consciousness in hip hop to, other things, to the Versace era. And even now, between talking about drugs and cars and all this stuff, which, okay, it's great if you got a Lamborghini, or if you've driven a McLaren, or, whatever other expensive cars there are in the world. But it gets you to the same place as the Honda Civic, as as a what you call it, gets you to the same exact place. Whether you believe it or not, it gets you the same
Hey,
place.
yo, what? That's very funny, because can you imagine, like, all these fancy cars? If you pay all that money, they do something extra. Like, you be like, yo, he just got a Lamborghini. He's like, yeah, I'll ride you to the club. Yeah, but he went to the club in '88. He was able to. He turned his radio on. Yeah, he ended up at the club, but whatever year he won, you know what I mean? Like, '88 was popping for him, so he turned the dial, and the Lamborghini take him to the club at '88. You still taking me to the regular club? Anybody could go to this club. Take, take me, take me where Rock the Bells drop. You know what I'm saying?
But
I
but
want to be.
but
in that club, the night Rock the Bells get performed. You know what I'm saying? But that's very funny. Like that Civic gonna take
yeah,
you to the same place.
same place. You know what I mean? And so what happens is, again, we get caught up in the dynamics of, these movies. As I've, shared with Talent earlier, and the people earlier, Wonder Woman to me spoke specifically, first and foremost, obviously, about love. How many of us on this, on these platforms have lost loved ones, and
Mhm.
especially, unfortunately, during this current situation, or even prior to this, and you miss them. You wish they could come back. You wish you could hang with them again. You wish you could do, specific things with them again, because they made you feel a specific way. That
Right.
energy made you feel a specific way. But the reality of it all is, again, you can't bring that time back. You can't get that time back. One of the real caveats of us as human beings that we do, and we say it but we don't really understand it, is your ability to have time is amazing, because that's the one thing that you can't replace. You can replace money, you can replace friends, you can replace, even family, quote unquote, depending on, how you see the world or how you see things, but you can't get time back. So to everybody who's not taking every moment of every day to feel empowered, to feel wonderful about whatever it is they're doing, and that includes empowering the people who are in and around you, which means if you have a cousin, a friend, a sister, uh um who's doing something, and I don't care if it doesn't seem big to you but it seems big to them, tell them congratulations, encourage them, because what people are finding out in this situation is most of us have had to fall back on the things that we used to do naturally. I have friends who are artists who are now getting back into their art, but they've been artists since I was a little kid. So
Mhm.
now they're finding that they have to go back to that because, unfortunately, the job situation is, a
Yeah.
little sketchy at best, and and so forth and so on. And that goes for people who cook. That go Doesn't make a difference what your what your talent is, but you have to understand that that's one of the blessings and one of the many gifts that God gave you, and you're supposed to be sharing with the world. And it doesn't make a difference if it's 5 people or 500 people or 5,000 or 5 million. The point is you're sharing it, and in
Yeah.
that moment, you're allowing yourself to turn that light on in someone else, and that's huge.
But didn't I
That
say
is
that this morning?
huge.
Didn't I say that this morning?
Yeah.
How I didn't feel right. It was part of the Cash App conversation, like putting it up there when you're doing these platforms. Like I didn't feel right because it's a time when all of us are in need, all of us are hurting, all of us are trying to do the most with less than, and I don't think it's a just situation for you to ask someone, knowing that everybody's going. I keep telling people this. This is what kills me is like you would think 9, 10 months later people would get it. They don't. People still look at this like an individual situation, even though the whole world is going through the same thing at the exact same time. Everybody will just put it on me, on oneself. And I'm like, you can't do that. You have to have your fellow man in mind when you're maneuvering through a thing called the world, because the world is
Yes.
made up with others. So it can't be just about you. It has to be about you playing nice and playing fair with others. With that being said, I'm gonna throw this to you first because I want to. Once we get our guests in here, we're going to ask everybody the same thing. Going forward, knowing what you know for 2020, going forward to 2021, give me a couple of things that we need more of in 2021, and a couple of things you think we need less of in 2021.
Okay. So, first and foremost, I kind of touched on that a moment ago. We got to get back to love. And I don't mean love in the sense of what, again, most of us perceive love to be, which means man and woman and all that
More
stuff.
love.
Obviously that is important and we do need that, but I'm talking about love in the sense of understanding that, filling yourself with the highest level of energy you can, to allow that to then permeate into your circle so that those people then also share that same energy. We need more of that
I
for
like that.
sure in 2021 and beyond. Um, Leaving in 2020, one of the things that I think we could do a better job with is this whole belief system that because of likes or because of the way that social media has been set up or the construct of it, it is the end all to be all in terms of what measures and bars we have for one another. Because your friends and family and associates may be living certain lifestyles or doing certain things, great. That may not be where your energy lies. It may not be where
Right.
your journey lies. So you have to be safe and secure enough in your journey and in the things that you do, um, and understand that that's what your journey is. It's like
Right.
I hear so many people comparing themselves to their friends. So, well, such and such got married. I don't understand why I'm not married. It ain't your time. It's simple. It doesn't make it a good thing or bad. It's just not your time because everything that's supposed to happen to you in your life will happen to you in the time that it's supposed to happen, one way or another. Now, the problem is you can't allow frustration to set in, or you shouldn't allow frustration. I shouldn't say you can't because
Right.
everybody's privy to do what they think they should do. But you shouldn't allow frustration and certain things to set in. You should just continuously believe and know that the things that you strive for, the way that you see your life unfolding is coming. And day by day, moment by moment, appreciate all of the little things because what happens is those eventually become the bigger things, which eventually become your life. I'm gonna say this, real quick, and then we'll move on to something. For me, I gotta thank talent. We at the end of 2020, but I have to thank talent. Talent, early on when this whole thing first started, he deferred to me on a few occasions on some of his platforms and asked me to come in and just share my thoughts on things. From it grew this. I have been told time and time again that I'm supposedly have a gift for words and a talent for that, but I couldn't see it in myself because the people who are closest to me, I believe they always tell you things that you think you want to hear or things that make sense to you. But it is always interesting when you start hearing it and seeing it from other people who don't necessarily know you. And the one thing about this platform and about these platforms is that's what really happens. You get an opportunity to see where people really either understand and believe in what you're saying or they don't. So the same way that I was saying a moment ago that we have to not let these platforms be our only measure or bar of things, to Talent's point about putting up cash apps, I feel the same way when you post up about your son or your daughter or your mom or somebody, in your family celebrating something, and you go, could you please help me celebrate? The
Right.
people who are in your circle are gonna help you celebrate regardless. You don't have to ask. They're gonna say, congratulations, happy birthday, or whatever the case may be. Now, I'm not saying it's right or wrong to ask for it. What I'm saying is if you're putting in the work and you've been doing that in your circles, meaning you've been celebrating your people, celebrating the people who celebrate you, then it goes without saying. The problem is we live in a world where people expect to get things that they haven't done themselves. And you really can't live your life like that. You have to put forward the time, the effort, and the energy, and then allow the bank that talent always speaks of that you put into, allow those things to come forward for you. But you got to do it on your end first, which means even when your friends are putting up pictures that you might not put up or putting up sayings and things that you might not say, you can't look at them give them the side eye. You got to go, I might not say that, but it makes sense to you. So I'm allow you to, live your best life or say what you think makes sense to you. Everything has an opposite reaction. So no matter what you say, no matter how you go about things, just know that there's a reaction going to come to and for that.
Oh yeah.
So it behooves you to put forth your best effort so that in return you get the best coming back to you or to your circle. I think that's something else that we have to do, hopefully a better job of going into 221 and beyond. Stop looking for the return on the work that you've put in to be exactly what you put out. Sometimes it comes to you in other formats. It might come to you in the sense that it blesses someone within your circle. It blesses somebody within your immediate family. It might come as a blessing directly to you, but the blessings are coming. And you just got to be mindful and thankful that they're coming and understand that that's what this is about. It's not about a direct give and take all the time. Some of it is, a more cerebral situation. And we have to be open
Yeah.
to that,
And you,
hopefully.
yeah. And you mentioned the bank that I mentioned. That Bank of Karma is open 24/7. It keeps a track. of deposits, withdrawals. It never closes. And it's one of those banks you didn't have to walk in and open an account. By you being on this earth, you instantly have an account. You can't kill your account. You can't close it. You can't hate the customer service. None of that shit is watching you. And it got nothing to do with what they're doing. Ain't no staff in there. Ain't no, can I speak to a manager? It's the Bank of Karma. It's real. Everything you do, like you said, has a reaction on the other end. So before our first guest get here, let's dip to a lighter note and let's talk about what you've been watching. And now we talked about Wonder Woman. How'd you feel about Soul, the movie Soul?
Soul, I thought I saw that as well yesterday, and I thought Soul was an incredible story in this regard. Two things that I took away from that particular story was one, again, everything is about what you sow into the universe. You
Yeah,
may think that the simplest thing that you do doesn't matter, but you have no idea who's watching you, how and why they're possibly watching you, and what they're taking from you. So it always behooves you to hopefully be doing the best that you know how to and think you can do in the moment. We have
right,
to also
right.
understand that a lot of times people are doing what they think is the best thing and the right thing in the moment. Doesn't mean that it is. It just means to that point,
They think it
all of the
is, right.
models that they've seen, all of the things that they've experienced are leading them to believe that that is possibly the right thing to do at that particular time. So I took that away. And then the second thing that I took away from it was something that we just talked about as well, which is taking each and every moment that you have with your life and hopefully making, not only enjoying it, but making it mean something and putting it in a way that gives back to the world, some way, shape, or form. I don't care what it is. I don't care how much or how big or small you think something is, but if you take the moment to text somebody and just, hey, I
Right.
was just checking on you. You all right? If you take a moment to like somebody's picture, but sometimes it takes more than just a like or love. Make a comment, dope picture, nice whatever, or not. Let's put it this way: we don't want to put out any negative energy, so don't put. If it's negative, then don't put it. But if it's something positive that can add to the person, then by all means do that. Um, so those
Don't
were the
put it.
two things that I
What are you
took
thinking?
away.
What was you thinking in this picture?
So those are the two things that I took away from the soul. From the soul thing. And I thought that that was really, really dope. And then the last thing I'll say about it, which I also really appreciated, was for the first time to me, we finally had some cartoon representation that represented us in all our forms and spectrums. We had
You
real
like,
beards in there. We had
yeah,
the, but I like the characters. I like the fact that they really did. We had big noses. We had full figured women. We had natural hair. I thought that that was dope. Not to mention for people who may or may not have seen it yet, the actual way that they did the city, the trains and all, was off the chain. I was looking at the joint like, wait a minute, I think I know where that is.
yeah. But I'm gonna tell you what I like. I took all the same things that you mentioned, but what physically I paid attention to is how they like you said, they represented us in our color and persuasion, but at the same time, it's a part in there when you get to the soul part and figuring that out, that those people are pretty much colorless. Your soul, if you pay attention, it's like there's like a hidden message in there. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, your being on earth is this. But when the soul left the body, it was like it was so nothing to it's hard to put it into
Yeah,
words, but there's nothing to the entity, I will say. Like that same entity, like that soul that came out of Amir looked nothing like Amir. It was a
yeah,
whole different thing. And until it got back into that body or whatever the case may be, so it showed you these parallels of
yes.
in your universe, you might be a black man. Up here in the abyss, motherfucker, like you just are.
You
Like
just
so because somebody think about it. Somebody could have wrote that same movie and did that like the same black dude is up there, in the version of that. But they didn't. They made it very clear that when you transcended to that level, wherever that was, it looked nothing like
What
people,
you
what went into people per se, what we know as people. So I took that from the movie. I think that was dope. What I'm finding though, and this was very important during the pandemic, because I know everybody ran to, oh, make sure my Netflix is paid up, my Hulu, blah, blah, we stuck in the house and all that. I think that streaming services have created a monster in these binge watching. I think binge watching has turned us off on the week to week TV show.
mm,
Think about that.
mm,
I know
yeah.
people in my circle, and I know I caught myself a couple of times too, kind of being, for lack of a better word, a little frustrating that I watched this episode and it was good and I'm ready to get to the next one, but I got to wait a week. You know what I'm saying? I got to wait a whole week to get to. Now, mind you, this is how we grew up. We should be.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be a problem. But the past decade or so, you get the Hulus and the Netflix come along and say, "Hey, go. This is a show we're doing. Boom, season one's out." And you could sit and binge it at your time and leisure. Oh, that's good. Go to the next episode. Oh, that's good. Go to the, and you can finish it like, yo, that was great. So it's like setting you up for something else. So now, when you go back to regular television programming, meaning every Tuesday is going to come out, you got to watch it on Tuesday. You got to watch it on Tuesday. Waiting that week, it kind of mess you up. I'm gonna tell you something. There's a lot of real good shows. Is a couple I slept on
Yes.
for my own little personal reasons that I'm catching up on, like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the police show, the comedy,
Mm,
the Andre Brower.
please.
It's hilarious.
Yes.
It's just
Yes.
hilarious.
I agree with you. I
And I
agree with you.
remember
Even
looking
the
at it when it came out, looking at the lead, the white guy, the lead. I'm like, he looks too goofy for me. I can't watch this shit. But once you watch one, you get it. It's supposed to be goofy to that extent. Like he's supposed to be who he is. I think I probably think from the first time I thought it was supposed to be borderline serious or whatever. Once I realized it's this slapstick cop show, sort of like put you in the mind, not as crazy, but like a Naked Gun when it was out. The Naked Gun.
yes, or Police Academy.
The Police Academy put you. So that's a good binge worthy show. Of course, all the usual suspects with The Walking Dead, The Game of Thrones, if you haven't seen it. And then they got a bunch of new programming. So, what do you spend your time watching?
Okay, so just recently, I finally got onto the TV show For Life, produced by 50 Cent,
Oh, that's good.
um, about the gentleman who had gotten locked up and caught up in a situation, became a lawyer while in prison, helping his fellow prisoners while also trying to get his case overturned, which he eventually did. So I finally caught that, and incredible show for so many reasons. I mean, you talk about perseverance, you talk about motivation. I guess in a real sense, there's nothing more motivating than being locked up for something that truly wasn't your fault, or that you didn't do, and then having to literally day by day go through the process of trying to undo something that you shouldn't have had to been caught up in the first place. So that's a show that I recently started watching that I'm finding extremely well.
Right.
um we have also been binge watching, even though I know a lot of people probably have gotten turned off by Power. I still love Power, and I honestly, this newer season, to watch the son grow into who he's growing into, I'm enjoying it. I really wanted him killed, like last season when he was getting on his damn dad's nerves. But the point is, but
Yeah,
but now,
that's a hell of a review. Yeah, I wanted
but I'm
him
just
dead
like,
last
I've been,
season.
but because, okay, Talent, you and I got kids. You know how that goes, man. Your kid be well out of line. You'd be like, look, man, if we could just get rid of this little mud. You don't mean that, but just the way that they seemingly are out of line. You're like, look, nobody got to be taking this. This is super out of control. But I'm loving the way that his character is growing in this new season. and even the actors who they have as part of it. I know there's a lot of people who are not huge fans of Mary J. Blige and her acting, but I always say this: when I really look at all of our actors, one way or another, and largely in part, I always feel like every actor is a great uh, form of themselves. There are very few actors to me that can transcend into specific roles and then you lose them altogether. To me, everybody, look, I love Denzel, but he's Denzel in everything he's in. I don't give a damn what y'all say. He's one of the greatest to ever do it, but he's still always Denzel. And the list goes on and on and on. But with that having been said, Mary, I think, we've given her unfair shake in the fact that we're, looking for Mary to, supposedly transcend out of who she is. She's a beautiful sister from Yonkers, New York, who made it into the music industry and has become her own force, but staying in her lane. I mean, think about it. Mary never really, tried to switch up and be somebody else. Her songs all, have the same tone to them. So that's what I mean. We have to stop trying to make people be versions of things that we've come to enjoy. No, you the first version of you. And that's a beautiful thing. Let's enjoy that. You know what I mean? So
That sound like a relationship show now.
yeah.
Then we just tell women to stop doing that. Well, speaking of women, our guest is
First
here.
guess.
Bringing the hilarious Onika McLean is in the
Yes,
building.
Onika.
You
Hi,
know
good
what I
morning.
mean?
I need to
Hey,
What
breathe.
what's going on with you, girl?
Yeah.
Onika.
You hiding in the alley somewhere?
I'm
On,
in no, I'm in
Onika,
transit.
you kidnapped?
No, I need light, sir. I need more light. You don't have more light. All right,
Sir?
you guys. This is
She
the
said, sir.
driver. If you could
I
please,
don't know what kind of I don't know what kind of escort service you working with over there.
if you could just give me your
I
light.
need more light, sir. Sir.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, so he's gonna do that. Okay, if you just give me your phone and then I'll do it. Thank you.
Onika, you
I
got a lighter or something? You
don't
just
No,
are you harassing the Uber driver?
it's not Uber. It's my company's car service.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is
I
better.
forgot
Hi
I
guys.
forgot
How
you
are
called.
I'm sorry. I had to go into the office today, so my you know, I never could tell talent no. Whenever he say come through, I'll be like, okay, I'll figure it out. Figure it
Let me tell you something. And I appreciate that. Speaking of that,
hmm
the coldest day of the year so far, we had the outdoor driving show, and I called her and she came through. First time working with Onika in flats, by the way, right? She didn't have her pumps on or her heels or whatever. So I was like, damn, I didn't know she was this little, right? So it's okay. So I sent somebody to the baby gap, get some thermal underwear. But the point is, she showed up and showed out. And I thank you, my sister. You are a true
Anytime.
queen in every sense of the word. How was your day going and the rest of your week and everything went well?
Wonderful. It's amazing. How y'all doing?
Oh, good. Good. You
Yeah,
see,
my
Amir
thing
was
is
over
good,
here.
good.
I'm just going over my set, making sure that I'm straight. And I try to like study as much as I can whenever I can.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing. And then I'm like, I got this thing with talent them. I love doing this show. You guys are so like prepared. It's so dope. Like you have taken um the internet by storm, talent. Like last night you were on first you had hip hop music on Twitter, and then you put on like a black suit smoking jacket, and I said, well damn nigga, like sorry, like it is a lot. I was like, is he on crack? Like how is it that you do all this stuff? You got 16 shows and then you still doing stuff. Keep going straight, sir. You can just keep going straight. Right, you got like about 16 shows, and I'm like, how? How? He was like, you
Yo,
gonna keep on going to 3 in the morning. I said, son, you just woke up. You said, here's the breakfast. Now, I think I rock with you the whole day. Cause like you had breakfast,
yo,
you had mimosa, then you did something, then you had me in the street in the cold, my pants ripped, I gained all this weight. And then I said, well, damn, I'm sitting up there like, I'm tired. He like, I'm gonna do 3 more shows before. How you doing all them shows, talent?
yo,
I'm just saying it's a lot.
let me tell you something. I'd rather be doing something than nothing. You know what I mean?
Okay, you are
And
not gonna not do nothing. You doing
yeah,
everything though. I
you
mean,
got to.
hats
You
off,
got to.
but this
You got
nigga is a
you.
DJ. He's a smooth, like he got wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. I'm just proud of
Hey,
you, sir.
hold up. So let me ask you a question. Amir just was talking about he had a chance to catch a couple of the new movies and stuff like that. Did you catch any new TV and movies?
No, I'm trying to keep up with you. I ain't got no time to watch no damn movie. You want me to
I,
fail in life? You trying to make me fail? I'm not watching
okay,
shit. No, it's not.
okay.
I watched Ma Rainey. I watched Ma Rainey.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
I seen it.
amazing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that
You
was.
know what's funny?
Go ahead.
I start you ever because when you ever be on Netflix, when you watch movies on a streaming service,
Mm-hmm.
we feel like we could just pause them at any time and do something, right? So I watched like maybe the first 8, 9 minutes, and when I paused it, of course, the first 8, 9 minutes ain't nothing really happening in the movie. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna like it. And then I come back hours later and click on it. In the next 10 minutes, I can't move.
You
I
can't stop.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, anything August Wilson, like it's amazing. Like I love when they take stage plays and then they do something with it with cinema. It's amazing, like because the monologues are so long and
Yeah,
prolific. Like, yeah, I knew I was gonna love that. I knew it. It's kind of just watching Denzel and Viola just like do the thing all the time, like. And then
yeah.
that was I can't think
That was
Chadwick
Fincher.
Boseman's like
Yeah,
last performance, and he
yeah.
was doing
Final thing, yes.
that through all the pain that he had from the cancer. Like it, I just watched that and I was like watching him and then watching you, Talon. I said I just got to get my stuff together because it ain't right. I ain't doing enough in my life. I'm just not doing enough in my life. I'm worried about my edges and my weight gain. And you need to come to the right, sir, and just keep going straight. Yeah. And yeah, I'm just trying to get myself together. I just looked at them. I said, Onika, you got a long way to go. You better not complain about another thing. And I'm not. I'm not.
So let me ask you this. That's a good segue to the main question of the day. This is our end of the year show. The next time we come on our Mondays, it'll be 2021. Speaking of the year changing over in a couple of days, what do you think we need more of in 2021, and what do we need less of in 2021?
We need more love and understanding.
Okay.
And we need less of pivoting, like these stupid words that say that you got to change everything that's going on. Like we have to pivot, we have to live. Like I'm done with acronyms. I think that we should just love and understand it. And what can we leave in 2021? Well, the deaths, because everybody, goddamn, like enough 2021. But I'm scared to talk about 2020 because she's such a monster. I'm she can have what she wants. I'm gonna just let her have what she wants. I ain't gonna say nothing because I want to go home and have my house and some place to stay. That's all I'm saying. Because 2021, you be in yeah. So
Okay.
love
So
and understanding. We have to just be much more accepting of this new change. And
I
that's
like
it.
that.
Yes.
I like that because you and Amir both said love. You added Amir had reality too. We need more reality instead of all this virtual thing being the end all be all. Like people still on likes and follows. And what about real people? You know what I mean? I mean you added understanding and acceptance, and we do need less pivoting and acronym. I've always been done with acronyms.
It's just
And
too
then
much. I got the WAP.
yeah.
I got the girl. If you don't sit your ass down, like it's just too much. It's just too much. It's just too much. Nobody want to spell. They can't spell. That's why they using acronyms because they can't spell. Nobody spells. These kids don't know how to do timetables, and they don't even know how to tell time. If you gave one of these dumb kids a watch, they would be messed up. I'm just telling you. They can't write in cursive and they can't tell time. They cannot tell time. Like you, okay.
It's funny that you did when you were on stage Saturday. You did that whole thing about WAP. That shit had me crying listening to that. Like she did this whole bit, Amir, on the girls making a song about the WAP and the wet ass. And she went on. You need a doctor's appointment. You need.
They need to stop. They really need to stop. Like it's ridiculous because what happens is you give this false sense of reality. Girl, you is not like no macaroni. Ain't nobody mopping behind you. Stop. Just stop. You got regular women thinking something wrong with them. Ain't nothing wrong with regular women. I got a fupa and some stretch marks and some cellulite, baby. Like, stop.
Yo, listen, man. I
Right
didn't
behind
know
this car. Thank you.
the girl is crazy. You are off your
I got
rocker,
the
man.
driver laughing. He's
I
laughing
was
too.
about to ask that. That was my next question. Like, what is the driver doing right?
He can't believe it. He's like, the lady was reading the paper 2 minutes ago. I'm sorry.
Anything, Amir?
Ah,
Before we let this lady go, you want to ask Anika anything, Amir? You good?
I'm good. I'm good because I'm going in and out, so I'm it's
Oh,
kind of.
okay.
But
No problem.
Onika, I
Onika,
always love when she comes
oh
on.
God, yeah, she is a force to be reckoned with. She is her own beast, man, and I love you to death.
I love
I
you
more
too.
more the main reason I wanted you to pop in is to tell you that face to face. I wanted to tell you how much I care about you and love you,
I
and
love you
respect
too.
and appreciate everything you bring to the game. And I wish tenfold for 2021 for you. You know what I mean?
You too. I wish you much success because I know I can go on your tail wagon. I'll be like, I see you got extra dates. Is there any way you can book me? You know what I'm saying? That's what people don't. I don't understand how people be hating. If you help somebody, you be like, go ahead, and then they grow. Guess what? You're right there. They ain't got no choice but to give you a couple dollars. Shit. If you get 1 million, can I get 10? You yes. Okay, sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen, my girl, the queen herself, Onika. Thank you for your time,
Onika,
Mama.
See
I
you later.
appreciate you.
we
Love
Onika,
love
y'all.
you.
oh, this is how we get down. You see? Oh my God. If that energy don't stimulate and motivate, you know what I mean? Like just talking to her is
Yeah,
such a funny, infectious, like
yeah.
vibrant energy, man. That's crazy.
She
That's
always,
crazy.
she always is incredibly funny, man. No matter what platform I've been on, even if the few times I've had the opportunity to see her in person, do her stand up, she is incredibly talented and super
Oh,
funny.
God. Oh,
Super funny.
listen. I want to I gotta check in with the other girls because we had two sisters who didn't make it on the show who's supposed to be. I gotta call them as soon as we hang up and hope everything all right.
Okay,
Because sometime emergencies come up or whatever the case may
come
be.
up, no question.
Um, I wanted to thank Mimi Simpson because she did this quarantine comedy thing also Saturday night. So when I got done on stage in Brooklyn Live, I had to go and jump on the virtual, excuse me, with her to do that show. Um, and wanted to thank her and get some insight on it because she worked through, I seen that night, she worked through a lot of technical difficulties, but she was such a trooper. I mean, we were just enjoying her doing her thing while people were getting their thing together because it was comics from all over. So, it wasn't the perfect situation for everybody else. But as far as she
Okay,
did it. And I wanted to talk to her. Also, Tamika James, we've had her on before, and we are coming up on, hopefully, we'll be able to get her. The first is Friday, right? So second, third. Oh, okay. We'll try to reboot with her next Monday because remember,
okay.
January 5th is the date for
Is
the Georgia elections for the two Senate seats.
yes,
And
yes,
she,
yes, yes.
even though she's a comedian, she works with Stacey Abrams' company that they got that got all these hundreds of thousands of voters registered and out to vote, and it worked for the presidential race and election, and I know it can work for the Senate race and election.
For the
So I wanted her
seats.
on.
Yes.
We'll just push her back to next Monday, but in caption to what we were talking about, the most important thing is less and more than 2021.
Yes.
We as individuals got to do our part. I said it this morning, I'll say it again. I believe personally our sole reason for being here and doing our part means helping someone other than ourselves. um it's something about
Agree.
people when they become responsible for others than themselves, make them better people. It perfect example is women, right? When I look for a woman that I'm gonna spend some time with, date, hang out with, be a girlfriend or whatever the case may be, I could almost guarantee you it's not going to be a woman with no kids. And that's not a
Mm,
disrespect to any women that don't have kids. Me, per se, from experience, I understand that I move different and they move different. when they're in that point in life where they're forced to care for something other than themselves. You know, if you don't have a kid,
Yes.
and let's say you, God forbid, you biologically can't have kids, you better damn well have a dog or something, a
So,
couple of
yeah.
cats. You know what I mean? I
It's
need you to have something that shows that you're caring for something other than yourself. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
No, that's
that,
big. You know,
that's a big thing. So that's why I say 2021. We all got to keep in mind to do our part for one, take care or do something for somebody. You know, you'd be surprised, like the story you told, the impact it had for a long period of time. You'd be surprised the impact we have on each other. We are connected.
yes.
Whether you want to believe it or not, we're automatically connected in this universe, man. There's nothing you can do about that. All you can do is play it up and pay it forward the best you can. You know, coming into 2021, I agree with you guys. I think we need more love, understanding, acceptance, you know, more reality based things so that we can deal with real life and not deal with computer life. Because computer life is totally different than real life, you know.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that you guys hit the nail on the head with that. And then, like you said, with less than, she hit the nail on the head with pivoting. We keep pivoting to what we think we're supposed to say and what we're supposed to do instead of staying the course on what you truly believe in. You understand what I'm saying? And that makes you fickle.
That's that you hit a, that's a
So yeah,
classic point. Hmm.
yeah, you don't want to be the pivoting person because that's that person in the office when shit hits the fan and things are going down. You know, this guy said, you know what I'm saying? He's like, yeah, yeah. This guy, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. You saying yeah to everything. Fuck do you stand? You say, yeah, he right. You say, yeah, I'm right. Who the fuck is right? We'll never know. We'll never
Yeah.
fucking know because Pistol Pivot and Pete over here is
Is
been ping ponging around the office. So we don't know what the fuck is right or wrong and where we stand and what we should or should not do. Anyway, let's all pray for this guy that clocked out early from his job in the office, the highest
big
office in
time.
the land. You know, let's pray for him
Big
as
time.
well. And I say pray for him because, again, to reinforce the comment of what we do affects others. So we pray for him because Lord knows the more things that happen to him, he's going to make sure it affects others. And from 4 years of dealing with him, we know it has been more negative than positive for the average
The
person.
positive.
Right. So my homework to everybody, um, January 5th, again, Monday we'll get my girl in here, but January 5th, if everybody, black people usually got other black people they know or related to in the state of Georgia, Atlanta especially. Call your people, text your people, email your people,
Tell them.
messenger your people, WhatsApp your people, FaceTime your people, Duo your people, whatever you got to do, Marco Polo, whatever you use, method of communication, communicate to your constituency, family and friends and colleagues in the state of Georgia. And let's get these 2 seats so that we can run the gamut and really pass some things and try to make the
And
life
get
a
some
little better.
change.
Yeah. So in
Get
closing,
some
I want to
change.
thank everybody. Amir, as always, thanks for your time, bro. Appreciate you, man.
It's my pleasure, man. It's 2020, like I said, it's been a pivotal moment in time for me as well, as I'm sure it has for so many. So I just encourage everybody to continue to, you know, cultivate your blessings and turn them into things that allow you to now share it with the world and allow the world to understand who you are and what you bring to the table and why God, Allah, your higher power, your higher being sort of pertinent to bring you into this space and time, because what you're sharing now with the world is going to affect all of the people and all the things in your circles. And the more we can do that, and the more we can, get that energy going, there's no stopping us, y'all. There's no stopping us. Believe you me when
Exactly.
we say that.
You heard what he said. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. We'll see you next Monday. Another Motivation Mondays. WEMS Radio, baby. WEMS. This is how we get down. Holler back at your boy. We love you. Ain't nothing you can do about it.
Love. Yes.